Hi everyone, it's Laura from Laura's Handcrafted Treats and Treasures. Welcome to or back to my channel. What do we have going on here? Well, this is the new kit from Create with Scrimping Mommy, Amanda Charlesworth. This is part of her Journaling Joy collection. I think this travel something. I'll have to look it up and I'll put it in the description, but I'm going to post all her stuff in my description box and you can go ahead and look. She's going to flip through all the papers. I'm not going to really go through that just very quickly, but I just wanted to show you what I am going to do for my design team project for August. So I was really excited about this one because I have been to Santorini and when I saw the papers, I'm like, oh, I've been there. That's Santorini. I've been there. So what I have planned is something a little fun, but let's just kind of go through the papers real quick and I'll show you what I've picked out. Like I said, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the papers, but this is actually going to be used. It's the thicker one, so I've not backed it. I'm going to be using it for a cover, and this is going to be my inside, and you'll see why I have them on two different sheets when we get there. And these are just some of the papers. Like I said, I'm just going to go through them quickly. So pretty. Yellows and blues. And I'm not a big yellow and blue fan, but I love these combinations. And I love doors. I don't know. There's something about doors. But when I was over in Europe, doors, I don't know. I took lots of pictures of doors, which would probably be weird to some other people, but I just was fascinated. So there's that one and that one. And this says August, but I was actually there in September of 2013. So since I'm making not my regular monthly journal, I am going to do two of these. I decided that when I'll put September over top of that, and then I'm going to mark the days that I was actually in Santorini, and maybe mark when you know, where I was at different times, and then highlight Santorini. So we have that. And then I went through my stash and I thought, oh, I like that. I wanted to add some more to it. So I'm going to add some more coffee dye papers. I was playing around with papers a couple of years ago just to see what I could do with them. And I ended up with these beautiful papers, and I haven't really used them. So this sort of gave me an opportunity to do that. I have also cut out the tags, big and small tags. I have cut out the gals, the ladies here with the different hair colors. I have started some fussy cutting and cut out the circles. I have a few more fussy cuts to do. Amanda has also given us the pull tabs. I know I'm going to be wanting to use these, but I'm so horrible at cutting these out. I'm just horrible at it, so I'm not even going to try. I have an actual die cut. Let me get it real quick. That cuts out your tabs. This one and this one are my favorite. I'm pretty fond of that one too. So what I did was I took 4 of the basically inserts of the paper, or basically 4 of the papers, and I put 4 to a page, which shrunk them down, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my dies. Now I realize everybody doesn't have these, but you can go ahead and cut out what she has. I'm just horrible at it, so I would just rather make it easier for myself. She has also provided this gem. I love this. I love that we're going to get, we got January all the way through December. Journal, memories, dream, happy times, remember, cherish, thankful. Because if you watched my journals at all, I love to put little things in there. I love to put little things that give people hints, like, oh, remember when we did that? And I have several of these that I have made on my own that I love to put through my journal. So we have that. And what I am planning on doing is I am going to take this subject book, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to untwist the wire, and I will do a tutorial. I'm going to start a tutorial on this. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to cut all my papers, and I'm going to cut them to match this 8 by 5 notebook. And this is why this is going to be the cover, and this is going to be the inside. And then I'm going to cut these and make them the size. What I'm going to do is I'm going to untwist all of this. I'm going to take a few of these papers out, and I'm going to incorporate these papers to make myself a little booklet to remember my trip. So it won't all be these lined papers. I may even coffee dye these or tea dye these just for a light look. I don't know yet. I'm not really worried about it since I do have a lot of white within here. It doesn't bother me. But I wanted to add, you know, a few more elements and things to it. I may add a couple little envelopes. I don't know, but my mind is in that gear, and I'm getting ready to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything prepped. And when I come back, we're going to take this apart, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So I'll be back in a bit. Okay, I've gone through and prepped everything, and I've actually gone through and inked everything as well. So that'll give me a nice head start. I do have a few more things to cut out, but that's no worries. I have all my papers done. I've not actually laid them in the order that I'm going to lay them yet. So that will be in a little different segment. I have cut all of most of my embellishments and tags and inked them up. And then I actually even made the little tabs that I had talked about, where I had made them out of the paper that I had put forward to a sheet, and I got all those made and put the rest in my stash, and I got them on and inked. So I'm feeling good about this. All right. I also had cut these down. I was going to cut them all down to this size, but I thought, oh, what if I wanted to put a little pocket? I could fold and do a pocket. So I saved the bigger pieces of each one to do that with. Okay. So the first thing that we do, get all this out of my way. This is going to be my cover. Now, I want my cover to end up in this section, and I didn't want any white border. I'm not worried about the top because it will never reach the top, as you can see when I get ready to glue it down. And I cut each border off of each side. But the first thing we have to do is we have to get this unwound. So it's pretty simple. You just, and I've done this before if you've watched any of my videos. I make these little or remake these little journals, only I use I think it's a 5x7 one. Seemed to go very well. And then this is how I recover the tops, and then I add stuff inside, pockets and such. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just gently twist that just to get that started. And then it's literally, basically, you just roll that out. Now sometimes I have to fool with this one because it's just too bent to kind of go through easily. And I could do it a little bit more. Maybe kind of bend it back this way a little bit. Yep, and then just roll it out. So I get my covers off, my front and my back. And what I do, and I know it shouldn't make a difference, but I start to roll this back into the paper exactly the way I took it off. You can roll it all the way, it doesn't matter. But I'm just gonna roll enough to know that when I put my covers back on and my papers back on, it's going to go this way. Sometimes if this gets turned upside down for some odd reason, it doesn't roll the right way and it just gets a little taut. So I make sure I keep them in order. And when I mass make, I do the same thing. I just do about 5 of them, but I just roll everything back up. And I try to keep the covers with the actual one it rolled out of, because these are all done on a press. You know, they go through and these are pressed and all these machines do it, so you're never going to get an exact hole. All right, so now I know that this is my cover. This has to go on top of it. And I've already sort of eyeballed it to measure to know that when I flip this over, I have to get in at least close to my corner. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I want to be close to my corner so that I pick that up. And also with the back side, I'm going to do the same thing, but make sure you're not flipping them in different directions. Do it exactly as it comes off the book. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one glued down. Okay, also when I'm gluing, I'm gonna go ahead and speed this up and kind of forward it. Also when gluing, I always start in the area of where my wire is gonna have to go back through, and I get my corners and I get my area, all of these all in between, because I want that glued really well. So I don't skimp at all on the glue here. Okay, so you can see that I have gotten all my edges. I've got where my holes are really well, and then I'm just going to get that filled in, and I'm just going to be generous. But I like the fine tip on the art glitter glue because you don't get globs that kind of press through your paper. Yeah, it works really well. All right, so I think that's enough. Now again, this needs to go up under here. So I'm just going to move this over just a little bit. I'm going to take my front, and then I know my picture's on this side. Double check. It's always better to check twice instead of having to unglue, which I've had to do. And then I'm going to get that as close to the edge as possible. Doesn't have to be exactly to the edge. I'd rather trim off this than have that red showing through. Then I'm going to go ahead and just press that down. Now usually what I do is I just do all of this first. So I'm going to go ahead and get my second one on, and then I will set that aside and let that dry, and then show you where I go from there. I don't just put the second one on because all these holes have to be punched out. So I'm going to get that done and I'll be back. Okay, I've gone ahead and got my papers down. This is my back, this is my front, and I'm going to go ahead and just cut them out, just following the line of the actual cover. Okay, the front and the back outside of the cover is done. So it's going to go like this, of course. Now, what you have to do before you put that second cover, so this is going to be my inside. Before I can do this and put any of this on, I have to go and punch these holes out. Now, everyone may not have a smaller little punch, hole punch. I don't know the size of this, but it's just a little bit of a smaller one. I think I just went online and looked for, you know, something smaller, and there it was. And that it goes right in. I just feel for the tip to kind of go inside there and then punch all my holes out. Now, everyone may not have this or have access to it. So another thing that you can do is you can always cut, instead of using these covers, you could take some chipboard, maybe something a little heavier than this, or double some of these up, and then you can just do like a 3-ring binder. So you just get your rings, you punch your actual bigger size hole punch and then just bind it with 3 rings. You could do it with a cinch machine, so you wouldn't have to put all the little holes in here. You would just use your cinch, which I thought about doing. You would use your cinch machine and do it that way, and then again actually make your covers out of some chipboard. But I have this is how I do it. I bought it specifically because I do this all the time. So I am gonna go ahead and get all these punched out. Once I've done that, I'm going to cover the insides with this. So you get the idea. I'm going to move on from that. You'll see it when it's completed. All right, while that was drying though, I did take some time and I went out and laid all of my papers out, kind of deciding where I wanted them. I'm still not quite sure. I want this to be the first page you see when you open up the cover. I haven't really decided yet. If not, I might flip it before I put my holes in, and then you see that, and then my itinerary, or my dates of when I went. All right, so that's gonna go like that. I'm gonna flip through these. So what I did was, it might be overkill, but this is a book that I'm going to put pictures in of me in Santorini, and I want to keep it and have it as a memorial, not memorial, but maybe a memorial someday. But as a keepsake. So what I did was I laid everything out on my counter and I sort of flipped things back and forth, front and back, so I wasn't repeating the same back side, because some of the backs are the same, so that I could just make it just more cohesive. And then I went back and then added my short and long pieces of paper. So I'm just going to flip through them real quick so you can see what I came up with. Be lots of space for writing, and then I just added the short yellow one, just trying to make it more cohesive. Now this one, I can, like I said, I can fold this in. I might cut a little bit off, but this could be a tuck spot. I can do it either way. If I decide I want to do it this way, I can do it this way. So I did that, and then I have another long piece, same thing. I can make it short. I could make a double one. Yeah, I haven't quite decided. Then the longer yellow one. And I may just cut them down and leave them a short, but I think I'm going to make pockets. I think it'll be fun. Because I think I want to leave most of the pictures. I don't know that I want to cover these up with anything. I think I want to do my writing over here or my picture over here, and I just want to leave the beautiful pictures. I'll do that in my other journal. I'll do my mirrored pockets, or my pockets that I do to match it. And then here, and then here. And so that is my lineup for my paper. Now, I was like, well, that has gotten a little thick, and I want to keep in mind that my binding is only going to hold the thickness of what this wire is. So I can't get too crazy, because look at the paper. Look how thick that is. So I may opt to only put one of these sheets here and there. I haven't decided. I think I might try to put one, maybe one in each spot, but I can always rip it out if it doesn't work, if it's too bulky, if I can't wind it in there, if I can't turn it, I can always rip it out. So the next time I come back, I'm going to have my top and bottom done. I'm going to decide what I'm going to do and have my holes punched, and then I'm going to start putting it together. Yay! Okay, I have all of my holes punched, front and back. So I put these papers on first, let it dry a little bit, punched the holes, punched the holes. Then I put my back paper on, let it dry, punched the holes, punched the holes. One thing I did as well after this one was punched is I went through and I lined these up and I did all of my papers. So I just sort of clipped them down with my clips, and I did about 5 at a time, and it seemed to punch real well. One thing I would have done differently is I would have not covered this first. I would have punched before I did all the covering, because it sort of wore on the punch holes here, but it's not going to be that noticeable. So now what I'm going to do is I've decided to put none of the lined paper in, because it's going to be thick, and as I start to add pockets and stuff, it's gonna get thicker. So all of my holes are lined up. I left my wire facing up. I just took it out of what I had had it in to make sure it stayed the right way. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and feed that back through and get that wound back up. And sometimes it doesn't go this smooth. I guess I'm just having a lucky day. Sometimes I have to fiddle around with the wire part here. But yeah, I'm just gonna feed that through. All right, and I must have gotten all my holes right because it went through very easy. Then I'm just gonna come over here and I'm gonna gently just twist that back down to the position it was when I opened it. And I try not to mess too much with the ends. I just try to put them down exactly the way they came out so that the book moves easily. And here we go. So I just realized I forgot to do one thing, but I may untwist that. I did not ink. I did not ink my cover, and I want that inked. So I might have to take that out and ink those first. Anyway, here it is, and now I can easily flip through. The reason I left these out was because I was deciding. I'm gonna decide, do I want them this way, or do I want it this way? And it might decide if I were to put a pocket over here, which I think I'm gonna leave this for a picture or writing. And then I might even just leave this whole thing for writing or put something, I don't know, I'm decided. But anyway, that's why I left those out. But I still, if I really wanted to cut them down, I still can just flip everything like this, get my paper in there. I would measure it and cut it down to match everything else. So I left myself some options. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get everything inked up. I'm gonna see how long this video is going to be. If it's over close to a half hour, I'm gonna go ahead and do a part 2 with the embellishing. If not, I'll be back in a minute. All right, I have my book put together, but I'm not quite done. I still have pictures to put, but as you can see, it's gotten thick. And this is what I was talking about, is it puts strain on the wire. So sometimes it starts to get harder and harder to turn. I do have a few more things I want to put into it, and I'll do a flip through. But I have gone through and picked out a couple of like blank pages. So this one I'll take out. I think there's about 4 or 5 that I can take out because you see how it's straining the wire, and it's just not going to be as easy to flip. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to get a few pictures in here. I will show you the first page. That's me. I don't know, someone took a picture of me. I think I was combing my hair with my fingers or something. But anyway, thought it was perfect for that spot. And I will do a flip through, but yeah, I'm gonna get some of them pages out there and see if I can't loosen that up a bit. All right, here it is. Pretty much finished. I'm gonna go back and add my pictures and then put it in my keepsake. Some of them have other people in them, so I didn't want to put them in right now. But I'm going to do a flip through. I ended up taking out, I think, 6 pages just to kind of loosen this up. It's still pretty tight. So if I ever did one of these again, I would be very conscious of maybe putting, I don't know, 10. I'd have to count them because, like I said, once you start to get your mouth here and you put things in there, it starts to pull on your spine. Anyhow, what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to cut them down, and then I'm going to use them as writing paper in, because there's lots of places I want to put pictures. So I'm sure it's still going to end up getting pretty thick. But anyway, here is Santorini, and we went there in 2013. And I showed you the first page. I have just some writing things, and my goal is to, wherever I put a picture, I want to write on the other side. And then I have used the little ones that I had put 2 to a page, 5 by 7, and then made little booklets. So I've used them for writing areas as well. I have another one here that was just extra paper. I didn't use it, so I ended up making a pocket. And then, like I said, I'm going to cut these off, and I'm going to start to make more writing spots in there. Or they could be pictures too. They could be backing for pictures, so we'll figure that out. Here is another one of myself. And this one I ended up making had to shut the door because it was getting noisy. So I ended up making the door that's underneath, and I actually made the door that I could put this in. Now I may replace some of these things with these because I had taken so many out. So I may do like half ones, you know, I don't know, but I'm gonna use these up. And then on this one, I've put where I'm gonna put pictures. Then I just took an envelope and did some stamping, and I made a pocket and put some of the tags. But then also there is another booklet in here for writing. So that was kind of fun to do. Something a little different. Come on, get in there. Okay, and then I'm gonna do a picture because I made a belly band here, and I put a tag and also a paper folded in half that gives me plenty of journaling space. And let's see. Come on, fingers, don't fail me now. All right, on this one, I just put the 2 corner tuck spots, and then I thought this girl was cute. She didn't really match. She's kind of southern, so I might change that out. It might end up being a picture and that I can journal on the back, but for now I just put her in there. And then I left this page, some of them I left because they're just too pretty to cover up. And then here I'm going to put a picture, and then over here I want a journal, so I kind of mixed that one up a little bit. Picture, this one's going to be for writing. And each picture I'll try to write a little something. I used some of the little journal tags that came from the kit and made side pockets out of them. This one is going to be a picture, so I'll use these to journal. And then again, I used another of the little booklets that I made. I think I'll switch that out to one of these and do a picture. And then I left this as a flip out, and then I just had some pieces left over from the tags that I had made. So I'm like, oh, those make great little pockets. So more journaling. And then I quit writing what I was gonna do because I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a picture. So I could journal here and that'll be a picture. I can journal over here. I can maybe even put a picture in here. And then again, another little booklet with some tuck spots. I used those other 2 that I had left over to make more pockets. And I'm gonna go through and maybe put some words because I do like things that have words on them, so I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna embellish these a little bit more. But I really wanted to get this video out so you kind of get the idea, but I have plenty of things left over here that I can, you know, embellish. So, but just for time's sake, I wanted to get this video out. Okay, so here I just made a full pocket that sort of matched the picture underneath. And again, I'm gonna cut some of these down and I'm gonna put full things in here that I could put a picture on one side and journal on the other. Then I have another pocket here. Again, this is what's gonna happen here. Picture over here. I'm gonna do probably a picture here, journaling here. Then I have another, just a note little thingy. I can journal in there and throw a picture here or here. Now I think the pictures are going to make them very bulky, so I have another plan too. Again, a little journal book, flips open, picture, journaling. I may go back and do some stamping, but you get the idea. And then this one opens up as well. Now I have a lot of pictures. I just printed them all off. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to make a pocket on the back, but I'm going to make almost like, what do they call those? Like accordion fold type pocket, so I can slip a bunch of my pictures in there that don't make it into the book. Anyhow, that is my design team project for Create with Scrimping Mommy, Amanda Charlesworth, for her August journaling joy, and it is Mediterranean something. I think I already posted it in the beginning of the video. But yeah, that was my trip to Santorini, so this was a fun one to work on. I hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe, and my time is winding down. That's taking me outside of my craft room, so I'm hoping to get a lot more videos done. Thanks everyone. Have a great day. Bye.